Orcust with a mini Eldritch package. I guess that's kind of cool. We have Earth Machina ramping it up, Thunder Bysteel, and some other interesting little decks for you today. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So what happens when we decide that we're going to go play this little Eldritch sub-package here in our Mech Knight deck? Excuse me, our Orcust pile. This is kind of cute out here, where you're trying to generate an advantage pile with massive crescendos. But you gotta remember, crescendo locks you into Dark Machine for essentially the entire turn. Alright, so whatever value that I think this duelist was trying to generate, first of all, it's impressive that they were able to get as far as they were. I do think that Orcust is, maybe if it doesn't hit the tier 1 marks as like the absolute best deck in the room, that players are going to be trying this out, trying to see what they can do with this. Also, Eldritch Monster being a incredibly strong little assister for this deck. Pretty good. I will say most of the extra deck options that this build is presented, I mean, everything's just kind of rely on Dingrisu, just being, you know, the free little drop on top of Galtea. Move on along with your day and try to soul roll. But the format's a lot more explosive than the last time that this deck kind of tried to come into the meta and actually do something. And that's kind of where I think a lot of people are probably going to miss some of the marks with this. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Players will try anything to make sure that their deck that they're playing is remotely, was as strong as it was, it remains as strong as it is. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see overall and do the thing. Other tech choices here, I mean, the Super Polys I think are good. We have only 2 droplets in the main, citing the third is also pretty good. I see that we're doing one cursed old land with 2 Golden Lord with a little split package with 2 Sanguine, 2 Golden with Higuero. So that's interesting. And then, of course, the double Solemn Strike. Okay. Next up here, we have Earthbox, Earth Machina, Gas, Swerve to the floor. Now, I will say this. 42 cards is fine. I actually don't think I've seen a good 40-card optimized list of this deck ever, because you're always trying to fit in ratios and adjust. And I'm also not used to seeing multiple overdrives. If I recall correctly, most of these builds typically was only, what, 1 overdrive? So actually to see a second copy of this is kind of cool. I guess a little bit more defensive options, plus the recycle ability to assist you with your things, and the ability to kind of handle the grind game a little bit better. And of course, I mean, let's not take anything away from this. This deck can ignorantly play Floodgates and not give a crap about anything that the opponent might actually be able to do. I like this. Of course, most of your sub package for the Machina stuff is going to be also 4,600 attack points is nothing to laugh at. All right, when the big guy comes down and starts swinging through these huge numbers and putting this huge pressure on your opponent, that's when you know, like, the advantage tree is going to be crazy for this deck. Also, I mean, your only real immediate value hand traps, I mean, we have 9 of them, right? You got the Ashes, the Drolls, and the Imperms. Your sub-protection package that you chose to play for this build is the Book of Moon. I mean, I don't really have... Is Book of Moon versus Book of Eclipse better going into the format? Probably still sticking to Book, honestly. The biggest thing is, you still got to play through some of the more disruptive power boards that kind of exist, and I think that can be a little bit of an issue for this. That's why, you know, they're trying to play this, but this also doesn't stop an SP Little Knight from being across the table for you to have to deal with. So that's something to kind of consider too, but that's your Earth pile. Next up here, we have the ever so famous Azzy back at it again, playing the Thunder pile, as you can see here. Now, we've seen how much the Runic package actually can be merged with all of these other stupid decks in the room, alright? If you want some sort of advantage tree, you know, some sort of way to generate a snowball effect of advantage, you can probably find it with Runic, alright? We've seen this over and over again. This deck, I mean, this package is just crazy. I will say that in terms of, this deck getting the chance to kind of interact and do its thing, obviously Sub Bysteel package is always going to be crazy good. Also, surprised that, you are effectively still playing Runic Bysteel. I guess I should say that. Like, you're still getting the chance to take care of that. You're just not taking the advantage of, like, the Quests and, the little extra things that you get with that. But you are very, very, very strongly getting Branded Regained to help you along the way. Also, this stupid good card, always going to be a absolute banger. Also, hey, Fountain Plus, Dissipator sitting on the back helping you along, always going to be cool. And, of course, we get to take advantage of tuning to go get our Assault Synchron here, so you can start toggling up into the world of 10s, deploy a Chaos Angel. And this build's also getting the chance to play the Tri-Edge Master in here as well. Free little draw power as well for this deck. Going to work out relatively well. I love the concept of this. That's why I wanted to show it. We typically always tend to see Azzy coming in every once in a while, showing us success, just with the little innovations from the Thunder department. Good stuff, I must say. This is actually pretty cool to see. All right, next up here, Asian Persuasion Johnny came in with Dark World shenanigans and proved to everybody, hey, we can do something with Dark World right now. Now, all jokes aside, this deck's reliance on the meta is always 100% going to be determined by how strong is Dimension Shifter going to be in the format. Now, in the very early stages here, when we don't have Shifter kind of rearing its ugly head in the format, this is the point where you'll start to see people kind of testing out Dark World, and you'll get to see how unfair this deck can actually be. Especially, also now that we have Ken and Gen down here getting the chance to do the thing, you hit a Kenner again, and then suddenly, Silva's coming out of the woodwork here. Your opponent's getting the shuffle back hand rip. Cerule's following it up with the hand rips as well. Yeah, these two cards are very, very broken for the things that they can actually do. And it's a little bit crazy. Also, only 1 Talents, 1 Thrust. Honestly, these cards are good, but Johnny, I don't feel like wanted this deck to go over 40. You're trying to keep this as optimized and as quick as possible. That's why you'll see some builds will try to branch out, play something that can lead into a dead draw. And when you start messing around with the statistical data of this deck, you want this to be absolutely optimized for as much as you can, or you're just going to hit some bumps. That's why you'll see some builds only playing 1 copy of Silva versus 2, but you want to make sure that you can get as much power behind this as you can, so you can start getting the hand ripping and things going. I mean, worst case scenario, if you need some board breaking too, we can call in our friend Gold here, and he'll take care of all of that for us. I kind of love broken Dark World cards, man. Absolutely beautiful. And next up here, there was a Sky Striker list that showed up. Now, they didn't have a side deck. It was actually the crazy selling point of the profile. They're like, oh my gosh, Sky Striker, new format, no side deck. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not a huge fan of the Monster Gate here, because I feel like if I Monster Gate, logically, I can hit a Droll, I can hit an Ash, and I can hit a Ghost Mourner, Moonlit Chill. And yes, you can link into a Zeke or an Azalea along the way, but it just does not feel like good value, in my opinion. You hit one of these monsters, you're setting up for a not optimal place. And I would probably want to adjust. I see we also have some interesting going second options here that we're not really pushing into larger numbers, especially here with Droplet and things as well. So optimization could be a little bit better. We have extra deck slots to tend to for things you want to mess around with, like the Access Code Talker, kind of help you put that pressure on your opponent so you can kind of clean up their field. Outside of that, it's an interesting base. I like that this gives you a pretty interesting place to start. So, What do you think about all of these interesting decks? If you guys have had the chance to play a new format, or the meta at all, and you've been successful, please reach out to me on social media. Send your list. I like the chance to get to, talk about these sorts of things and see how things do work out. And I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.